All right, man, peace. So Joel Embiid has proven that he knows the history of the NBA, and he's setting his sights on a very high bar. That being that he wants to be the third player, at least in the modern history of the NBA, to be both the MVP and the Defensive Player of the Year. I say that because if they had Defensive Player of the Year awards back in the 60s, Bill Russell would have probably done that 3 or 4 times because I believe he won 4 MVPs. If I'm wrong about that, one of you brothers can correct me. And Bill Russell is by far the greatest defensive player in the history of the NBA. If you doubt it, just look up the defensive metrics all time and see where he's at in regards to career defensive win shares. He's about 30 defensive win shares above the next guy. Bill Russell was an unbelievable defensive player. But anyway, Joel Embiid understands that both Hakeem Olajuwon and Michael Jordan are the only 2 players in the modern era to have won the NBA MVP award as well as the Defensive Player of the Year in the same season. And he wants to do that as well. So anyway, they're going to talk about it, and I'm going to chime in.
Welcome back to The Jump. And with Sixers Celtics as the headlining game opening the NBA season tonight, we thought, who should we check in with? Oh, I know, Joel Embiid. Joel doesn't just think that Philly can come out of the East this year. He thinks the Sixers can win a title. And he'd also like MVP and Defensive Player of the Year honors. Still, the most bold claim in this whole interview may be him trying to convince me he's shy. Yep, take a listen.
Embiid, what a play by Embiid. Embiid detonates, process that.
Another start to another season, but wow, things have changed. This time last year, you had only played 31 games over the 3 previous seasons. Everyone was worried, is he fragile? How's he going to do? Is he going to make it? How much difference does a year make?
Definitely different. This was basically my first summer healthy. So that's why I also have a lot of expectations this summer, just coming in.
Well, you should, brother, but to be quite frank with you, I wonder how long your career is going to last. Just looking at how injury prone you were in your early 20s, that tells me that more likely than not, he probably has maybe 5 good years left to his career. He's already, I believe, 24, 25 years old. He's probably going to take a sharp downturn due to his body breaking down at around 30 or 31. But we'll see. Hopefully I'm wrong about that.
And then, I want to win championship. I feel like we got a pretty good chance. And then just for me, I feel like I have a shot at being the MVP and Defensive Player of the League. Hakeem is the last one to do it, so that would be exciting to follow after those footsteps, MJ and Hakeem.
Season on the...
Hakeem Olajuwon is on that list of probably the most underrated players in the history of the NBA. And hell, maybe I underrate him myself because I only have him at 10. One could certainly make the case that he could be probably no lower than 6.
On the brink for Philadelphia. Backing down Baines. No. Embiid's got it. And it's stripped by Rozier. And it's Boston ball. The ball game is over.
He has to redeem himself for that shit right there. For you to get stopped by Aaron Baines, come on.
And Boston is headed to the Eastern Conference Finals.
You said you had a sour taste of the way last season ended. What did that series against the Celtics expose for you?
I think,
What it should have exposed is how slow you guys were at the forward spot. And Philadelphia has done quite a bit to try to redeem that. They've tried to bring in more team speed. They're hoping that Markelle Fultz is going to work for them, even though I'm not quite sure if he will. I've seen him on the floor so far this season. I saw him in Game 1. I just don't like his body language. He looks very, very uncoordinated. We'll see. Hopefully he can redeem himself and show that he was worthy of being picked number 1 in the draft. They also acquired the brother from Denver. So hopefully he'll add some athleticism for them at the 3 spot, but we'll find out. I just don't think that they have enough to match up with the Boston Celtics. I think that the Celtics just have way too much, especially due to the fact that Boston was able to beat them in 5 games last year in the playoffs without their 2 best players. And Philadelphia had their 2 best players. So what would a series between those 2 teams look like right now? I mean, I could easily see Boston sweeping Philadelphia this season, in the regular season and in the playoffs if they match up.
As a team, we saw that we got a lot to work on, and I think people think I'm cocky, but I'm not. I don't know, maybe I might be.
People definitely think you're cocky. There's no question about that. I don't know whether you are or not, but...
I think the people around me knows that I'm humble, but I'm extremely competitive. I want to win, and I say and do whatever it takes to win. If I say that I'm the best center in the league, makes me believe that I'm the best, and it's just gonna make me improve my game. So,
that's a great attitude to have. You have to conceive it before you achieve it.
It's all about saying I'm high. It's not about being cocky. It's more about I'm competitive, and everybody around me knows that. But when it comes, I think I'm humble too.
You're going to convince me you're a lot of things. I don't know if shy or humble or any of that stuff I'm going to fall for. You're obviously not quiet on social media. You have this fun, mischievous personality. Is it true that your first agent hired a social media coach for you going into the draft?
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what somebody coaching you on social media would be.
I don't think I think I've probably talked to that social media coach probably once. Once, and then that was it.
We learned over the summer you're not just a social media guy, you're a YouTube guy. You told the world that part of the way you learned to play basketball was typing in white guys shooting three-pointers?
Yes.
That saves you a lot of money because most of these NBA players are hiring so-called shooting coaches and dribbling coaches, paying them thousands and thousands of dollars, paying guys who have no chance of making it into the NBA. They're paying them all this money. And you can go on the internet, you can go on YouTube and do the same thing.
It goes back to the time where I'm in 2011, come to the U.S., and then that's when I'm a junior in high school. That's when I figured out, like, it might be a stereotype, but, like, white people are, like, know how to shoot the ball, so I go on YouTube, and then...
They definitely have good shooting for them. I mean, the best pure mid-range jump shooter, especially wide open, that I've ever seen or that I can remember seeing is John Paxson. For those of you brothers who go back to the 90s, there was like a 2-year stretch where John Paxson did not miss a mid-range jump shot. It was unbelievable.
YouTube, like regular white people shooting threes, and then I see just the form and everything, the follow through, the elbow is like, oh, so duck, and then I'm like, wow, like.
You need to send that footage to Ben Simmons.
That's what I need to do, and then that's how I end up like getting to that point, and now I'm a better shooter.
76ers president Brian Colangelo resigned after an investigation revealed he shared sensitive team information on Twitter.
Philadelphia 76ers hiring Elton Brand as their general manager.
Elton Brand, you've been super supportive of him, but wow, what happened over the summer with Brian Colangelo? You're what? Playing tennis is where you were?
Playing tennis, and then I look at my phone, and then people are just sending me the same article, and then I'm like this is crazy. So I start reading, and then I get to the point where Eric Jr. was talking trash about me and all this, and then I'm like...
This dude was putting all of that disinformation onto the internet about Joel Embiid because he was trying to prep people for him trying to trade Joel Embiid. That's the only reason why he was doing that. I guarantee you he most likely tried to contact the Spurs and tell the Spurs that that many of these accounts are just people under my employ, and we're putting out this level of disinformation so that, you know, we can make this trade happen. There's nothing really wrong with Joel. I'm just putting out this level of misinformation so that we can make the trade happen. This guy had all type of machinations at work. It's just, and he's not the only one.
I just start laughing, and then I just start getting excited because...
But once again, there's no doubt in my mind that Colangelo was trying to build up a potential trade for Kawhi Leonard, and he knew that he was going to have to move Embiid.
This is what I do. I love having fun, and then the first thing I do is like go on social media,
yes.
And I tweeted, and then I tweeted like...
Joel Embiid tweets, Joel told me that Sam Hinkie is better and smarter than you.
I had like 2 or 3 tweets that night, and then I stopped. But it was a crazy situation.
I mean, does that test your trust if the general manager and president of your team or someone from his family is tweeting bad things about you?
Well, that should not test his trust at all, because he has no business trusting anybody in the front office anyway. The job of the person in the front office is always to do what's best for the organization. So therefore, Joel Embiid's priority should always be to do what's best for Joel Embiid.
I feel like there would have never really been any trust after that. So from that point, I feel like the owners kind of had to make that decision to like.
There's no doubt about that. They had to fire Colangelo after that.
I mean, like, I don't think anybody would have trusted anybody in the front office after that. So, I mean, that's just a tough situation.
Now Simmons in transition. What a pass to Embiid! My goodness!
I want to talk about some of your guys that are still here. What is your relationship with Ben Simmons?
Oh, it's good. I mean, we both different. He's quiet.
Now, did you brothers hear that? She asked Joel Embiid, what is your relationship with Ben Simmons? He says, it's great. We're both different. He's quiet. In other words, that's something to watch. The potential disintegration of their relationship. We'll see what happens with that. As I've stated, back in the 90s, there were many young teams that were fractured because they were giving so many young players at that time a lot of money and a lot of endorsements. And that created rivalries in the locker room amongst a lot of the young players. So we'll see if that happens with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. Now, stylistically, they fit well together because Ben Simmons does not even really want to score. He wants to pass the rock. But we'll see if the differences that they have in their personality types may lead to, some level of dissension in the locker room. Let me rewind this back a little bit.
Quiet, but
Your guys that are still here, what is your relationship with Ben Simmons?
oh, it's good. I mean, we both different. He's quiet, but we great. We have a good relationship. I love playing with him. I'm sure he does love playing with me too, and we have a lot of potential.
Now, to Joel Embiid's credit, he's already on record as understanding that he knows that the media is going to, quote unquote, try to break them up. Those are his words. When he says try to break them up, meaning cause a fissure in the relationship between Ben Simmons and himself. So due to the fact that he's cognizant of that, hopefully that means that he'll be aware of it and he won't buy into any of the rhetoric that may come at them from the media.
You and Ben could end up being partners in crime for a long time.
This city is like so perfect because like I love the fans that love me. I feel like why would you ever want to leave? Feel it's like a place where I would want to spend the rest of my career. So like I love it. So if that happens, that'd be amazing.
Pretty good. All right.
But anyway, that's basically it on that. We'll see how things go for Joel. So peace.